And when I say 1, 2, 3, stupidity, you are there. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, stupidity! Unbelievably so. And the book is launched. And you can see for sure that all our panelists are actually here. No one's been imprisoned between the time the notices went out and today's...
And which reminds me of the old saying that politicians and diapers have one thing in common. They should both be changed often for the same reason. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the man of the moment, Kee Thuan Chye, actor, playwright, and no bullshit writer.
Thank you, Taco. Good evening, everyone. So good to see so many of you here. I think we're going to have an exciting forum. But first, please help me celebrate the launch of my latest books. And while you're at it, I hope you'll buy a lot of copies. Let me explain why. At the bookstores, the retail price per copy is 28 ringgit. But here, and for tonight only, the books, no bullshit. It's true. The books are being sold at 22 ringgit each. And if you buy both as a set, it's 40 ringgit. So that works out to only 20 ringgit per copy. Wow, that's a steal. You know, you pay 8 ringgit less per copy. That's almost a 30% discount. You can buy and sell to your friends. Make money. Also, if you think about it, with the current exchange rate of about 4 ringgit 40 to $1, a set of 2 books will come up to only $9. So cheap. Indeed, if you consider the hard work I put into doing the research for the books and painstakingly checking the facts and writing the stories, that's value for money. Okay, so much for that commercial pitch. I thought I would start with something related to business and money, since our forum tonight will be about 1MDB and very likely the magical number of 2.6 billion. Or more now, Yes? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, 700 million at 440 is more than 2.6 billion. Yeah, we have to change that now, yes. Absolutely right. Nonetheless, it's true that I spent a long time putting together Unbelievably Stupid and Unbelievably Stupid 2. They cover stupid things said and done over the last few decades, which is why it required a lot of research. Even so, the stupid things said and done in recent times also required research. I had to check the facts to make sure that they were right, and also double check them to make sure that they were accurate. It's tough trying to make a living by writing books. I hope you get the hint. I also hope you get a lot of laughs out of the comedy documented in both books. And I hope they provide some comic relief to Malaysians in these uncertain and troubling times. To keep us updated on current happenings, I have 2 sections in the first book that are entitled 1MDB Dramedy and Who Wants to Be a Billionaire? Actually, I intended to bring out at first only 1 book. But the amount of material the amount of stupidity I had gathered was so huge, I decided to make 2 books. Even then, I had to take out quite a number of items eventually. They are now in my standby folder. Add them to the new cases of stupidity that are rolling out of Putrajaya with alarming speed, and I could come out with a third book soon. If that sounds like a threat, it is. I mean, since so many people are making threats these days, I might as well join in. Of course, in the end, it could turn out to be just an empty threat too. But let me come back to the current books. Providing laughs in writing them is not my main objective. The stupidity I highlight is one thing. The actual agenda behind some of it is quite another. And that's the insidious part of it. I believe that not all of Putrajaya is stupid. Some cabinet ministers and public officials appear to be so. But the stupid things they say or do are meant to serve a purpose. It's what I would call calculated stupidity. That purpose is to deliberately send out distorted truths and even falsehood to a target audience, sometimes as part of a propaganda or brainwashing exercise. The ministers who spew such stupidity and bullshit may not even personally believe what they are saying, but they do it for the cause. And that's where the duplicity lies. So my main objective in bringing out these books is to record such duplicity and show the kind of political culture we have had to put up with. It is a corrupt culture. And as I have included instances of duplicity from the time of Mahathir Mohamad's reign as Prime Minister, you can appreciate that this corrupt culture has been with us a pretty long time, at least 3 decades. And it's getting more corrupt by the day, which means we have to decide whether we still want to tolerate it or whether we want it to change. From his addresses at the UMNO division meetings over the August 8th weekend, it appeared that Najib was admitting finally, after 5 weeks of non-admission, that he had indeed been the recipient of the 2.6 billion ringgit. At the same time, he called it political funding, which he defended as being legal and legitimate. He even said the MACC had cleared him of it. He told the Pasir Gudang UMNO delegates, I quote, "Don't say I sell the country. I won't sell the country. I'm the Prime Minister who will take responsibility for whatever I do. That's why the MACC has said it is not corruption and not 1MDB money," unquote. DAP MP for Petaling Jaya Utara, Tony Pua, was quick to point Najib wrong. He said he had reread the MACC statement issued on August 3rd and was sure it never stated that the contribution from donors did not involve corruption. He also said that if the MACC had indeed cleared Najib, it would not have issued another statement 2 days later to say that it would ask the Prime Minister to explain the donation. Lawyers and political observers pointed out that even if the money Najib received had been a donation, it still transgressed the MACC Act 2009, which states that if a public official receives gratification, including in the form of a donation, it shall be presumed to have been corruptly received unless proven otherwise. This is made clear in Section 50. But to Najib, the 2.6 billion ringgit was hunky-dory because he self-classified it as funds for the party. Even so, he should know that such funds should be deposited into the party's bank account, not the president's. In fact, in February 2012, Najib himself had declared that the government would soon regulate financing for all political parties through a new initiative under the Government Transformation Program, GTP. This would require all forms of funding to be channeled to each party's official account in order to prevent abuse and misuse for personal gain. He also said each contribution to a party would require an official acceptance receipt. I quote, "The government believes this initiative will prevent any form of corruption and misappropriation on a grassroots level, as well as allow parties to benefit from the contributions and for it to be passed on to the people," unquote, he said. Cakap tak serupa bikin. It now looked like he himself had breached the proposal made under his own GTP, the program he had always been so proud of. Oh, by the way, could he produce the receipt for the 2.6 billion ringgit, please? It became apparent on August 22nd. Just now it was August 8th, right? August 22nd, 2015, that Najib had sold Malaysia's sovereignty to his Arab donor. The 2.6 billion ringgit he received from the latter, as confirmed by Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who said he had met the donor and his family, was to ensure that BN won GE13. This came from Zahid's own mouth when he addressed the Sri Gading UMNO meeting that day. I quote, "They want UMNO and BN to continue ruling this country," unquote. This clearly meant that Najib had allowed a foreign party to interfere in Malaysia's internal affairs and determine Malaysia's fate. If a party other than UMNO had allowed that, the BN government would probably have charged that party for treason. But Najib and UMNO were getting away with it. UMNO Division Leader and Deputy Transport Minister Abdul Aziz Kaprawi, while addressing the same meeting, added an extra spin to the story. He said the Arab donor gave Najib the 2.6 billion ringgit so that UMNO could fight the DAP, which Abdul Aziz said was funded by the Jews. The DAP funded by the Jews? If that were true, the BN government would have crucified the party's leaders for compromising the country's security. The DAP would have by now been deregistered. But did Abdul Aziz provide the evidence to support his claim? No. He merely said, I quote, "If we had lost, the DAP would be in power. The DAP, with its Jewish funding, would control this country. Based on that, our Muslim friends in the Middle East could see the Jewish threat through the DAP. The Islamic government would be overthrown, and that would destroy the Islamic struggle throughout the world. Because Najib is seen as a great Muslim leader in this region," unquote. Throughout the world, don't make me laugh, Gundu. Clearly, this spin was targeted at the faithful Malay followers of UMNO in the rural hinterland to reinforce their fear and hatred of Jews and the DAP. And here's another laughable bit from Abdul Aziz. I quote, "Najib, as the party president, was the warrior." He used the words Panglima Perang, chosen to ensure that we won the general election, unquote. The crucial question remained. If it was all so innocent and legal and so Islamic, why did Najib keep the source of the funding secret from everyone for a month? From the time Wall Street Journal and Sarawak Report first exposed the scandal until the MACC caught him out by declaring it a donation. Why did it take so long for Najib to come up with this Arab story? Were the UMNO leaders who appeared so keen to defend Najib capable of thinking that deeply? No, actually, that didn't require deep thinking. It was a very basic question. Thank you.